Second line from the bottom. please listen the teaching of Dharma on mind training practice that we've been learning since many years. And today too, please listen that out of good motivation, out of motivation of the bodhicitta, out of motivation of compassion, out of motivation of loving kindness. At the same time, I always begin with you, that most of you know that I always begin our gathering here, studying here, with asking you to really generate a positive motivation in your mind, beginning of your day, right? And then maintain the positive motivation throughout your day by recalling, by remembering, and then end of your day, end of your practice, end of your every task, even helping your friends, please dedicate whatever good virtues or merit that you have gathered for every other sentient beings. So this is the basic three things that I always remind you to do. Of course, at the same time, I also share with you sometimes it has not really, this is just a basic quality that we as a human, we as a sentient being should really try to develop, because whether we follow that tradition or that tradition, or we don't follow that tradition, it doesn't matter. But having a proper good motivation is, having a kind mind as a motivation, having having compassion in our mind as a motivation. It is wonderful things to do, and this is the way how we as a person can become kind and positive and helpful and useful for myself and for others. We also very clearly know that having anger in our mind as a motivation, having jealousy in our mind as a motivation, having any of those type of negative state of mind as a motivation is completely not helpful. They are harmful, they can hurt my mind, they can hurt my body, and they can also hurt indirectly others. So that's we are very clear that it is a completely not good idea to have that type of motivation in my mind. Knowing that also, as a person, I engage into action all the time, whether I'm awake or I'm sleeping, whether I pay attention or not pay attention, my mind, functioned. My mind engaged into action, particularly when I wake up in the morning and my mind really start to have a gross experience for feeling and started to focus on this and that. So our mind began to have already functioning. So means my mind is engaging into action already, and then plus my speech may engage into actions, my body will engage into actions. So those actions also we wanted to make sure they are related with the positive things. We don't want it to let my mind to relate with a negative state of mind, negative motivation. We also don't want to let the way I speak, the way I use my speech, the way I use my body, I don't want to let them to also relate it with a negative. And through that, I don't want it to create negative action, physically, verbally, and mentally. And that's the point I always remind you to maintain positive motivation throughout your day. Remember it. Positive, as example, compassion, or we learn about karma many times, like such as in this case having understanding of karma and it result as a motivation in our mind. So making sure that I use that understanding to engage into action that I do in my daily life, physically, mentally, and verbally. I'm at the same time always remind that they are all, these result things that I experience in my daily life are directly connected with the action, karma, cause. So basically understanding of karma and its result, or loving kindness or compassion or any type of wisdom that you have in your mind can use this and must use to let my 3 doors to engage into action. 3 doors means body, speech and mind. So we should really try to make sure that I'm not letting my body, speech and mind to engage into action out of anger, out of jealousy, out of any of this negative state of mind. We know that it has nothing to, it also does not really need to make our mind understand to enter into any tradition or any faith or any things. It makes sensible for all of us to have a positive action physically and bodily out of that positive state of mind. And from that point of view, what I experience and what I feel that is through that, we really create good action. We really end up doing something that is good throughout my day, and hour after hour, minute after minute, because I maintain that positive motivation in my mind. I recall it again and again, and see through that, what ended up is I ended up gathering so much good cause in my mind. I have created good term that uses in Buddhism, karma, like a many good karma. Another term is like a many good merit or good virtuous action I have created. And those can be useful, and at the same time it is more useful if I share with others. And how should I share? Of course, I do dedication. I dedicate. And also I let my mind to go through the thought process by thinking that may all of this virtuous action become causes and condition for everyone to achieve wisdom, everyone to achieve compassion in their mind, everyone to achieve loving kindness in their mind, everyone to achieve better and better understanding in their mind. So through that, our day become very positive, kind towards myself and towards others and towards community, towards my family. So these are the basic things that I always remind you. And at the same time, motivation is really need to spend few minutes in your thought process to feel, to have it. I always remind you by saying that if someone asks me what is my motivation, if I say compassion, I reply to him or her by saying that compassion. I mean compassion is my motivation. But in the reality, whether compassion is my motivation or not, it completely depends on not my answering that. It mainly really depends on whether I have really generated compassion in my mind, whether I have really developed compassion in my mind as a motivation. Right? So, and that means I need to think about compassion. I need to think about others, and then let compassion arise in my mind, because compassion is not word, compassion is not a body, compassion is a state of mind. It focuses on others, and it carries a beautiful, most beautiful meaning in there, which is feeling others to get free from problems and feeling others to also have a happiness. So that's why I see when we say have a good motivation means, again, as our day begin in the morning, and we do need to, before I do anything physically and verbally, we should spend maybe 1 minute, maybe 2 minutes, maybe 3 or 5 minutes to think about positive motivation. Let that positive motivation arise in our mind, and see, this is a really truly what is happening, such a happening in our life now. As I share with you many things, such as the precious our human life. We have it, and we need to know, we need to recognize and this life, and we need to know that we can do wonderful things. We need to know that we should really, I should not really take this, our life, as a granted. This life with so much beautiful condition that we have now, is must really use it meaningfully, and use it to achieve something that is meaningful for all of us, particularly myself and others. And then I also ask you to think about impermanent, because it's also very, very true to us that we, each of the day, we go through experiencing impermanent. Every moment we go through experiencing impermanent, and that's a real. That is a real. My experience are impermanent. I am impermanent. My relationship with everything is impermanent. And my, anything, everything that I have or not, or experience, or everything that is going through, are all impermanent. And that's the real. But at the same time, I also indicated to you many times that I don't see in that way. Many times I see these are permanent. Many times I see this object is permanent. Many times I see my relationship with this is permanent. Many times I see my body is permanent. Not only that I view it, I believe it. Even I don't say it. Even I don't say it based on my intellectual understanding, but in my real actual level or real level, I say that. And I believe that, and because I acted out of that, and most of the time I don't act out of my intellectually understanding that sees these are impermanent. So that's why I say we do need to train our mind to see that these are all impermanent, and I should not let my mind to grasp it, that view it myself, and everything that is happening as a permanent. I should not. So this is a real things, and at the same time, and I also indicated you that most important things to remember is problem we experience, difficulties we experience also arise from viewing or grasping thing as a permanent. If my mind can able to view things or grasp it at myself as impermanent, whatever change take places in my life, I will be experiencing less difficulties, at least. If I do well with it, I will not experience any problems whatever changes take place in my life. That's the one important thing here. If I make it one more point here is seeing everything, including myself, as impermanent is a correct view, or seeing or viewing everything, including myself, as a permanent is a wrong view. So relying on a wrong view produces problems and difficulties. Relying on a correct view or not mistaken view, makes things easier. It gives at least less problems. Anyway, so this is the one thing to know, that why every time I ask you to think about impermanent in your mind as a motivation. And then also I also ask you to think about cause and effect, karma and a result, because this is also very important thing that is happening in our life all the time, which none of us are new to that about experiencing, which is experiencing the result of cause. It's not new to all of us. It's been in our lives. It's been since the beginning of this life till today. I have been experiencing effect of cause, effect of karma. I have been. And so this is also one of the mental, one of the understanding that we do need to develop based on that understanding is, see, every effect that I experience are result of karma, result of cause that I have accumulated. There's no effect that I experience, there's no effect that I'm experiencing are not result of karma that I have not accumulated. So they are all. And that relationship is so important for us to understand. And through this, the term that we use in our normal life, say accept it. Don't reject it. It's based on that. More I come to help my mind to see, basically if I really come to see the relationship really clearly about the effect and cause, there will be no any rejection in my mind. If I don't see that, there will be a lot of rejection, maybe continually rejecting, all the time rejecting. And that is another source of the problem that I always share with you. That is also another source of sufferings. What makes us to experience sufferings physically at this time, what makes us to go through difficulties at this time, is because of the rejecting mind. And what makes things easy to move on with it, what can make easy things to move, is the accepting mind. And accepting mind comes from where? Comes from the relationship between cause and effect. Rejecting mind comes from where? Not understanding the relationship between cause and effect. Example, if something happened, my mind looks to find out who did this, not, I don't look at it myself, and why did this. Like a blaming is also one part of rejecting. Blaming is also part of rejecting. So look at that. This is also another very important meditation. We'll talk more, I think, more on that. But basically, and this is another one of the topic that I ask you to think about when you generate positive, the positive motivation in your mind in the beginning of your day. And then I asked you to think about the nature of in the nature of this self-existing world in general, and particular both. And that is also very important subject, important things, important experience that you and I all experience since beginningless of time till today, without having any one moment break from experiencing it. And nothing makes difference about that, experiencing or not experiencing. No matter what we have, or no matter what we don't have, no matter what, no matter who they are, as long as they are in this self-existing world, whether they have power or not, whether they have material things more or less, whether they have anything that doesn't make difference at all about experiencing nature of self-existing world or not experiencing it. So since we are all in that, and that's why I see that also help our mind to again deeper level of accepting, freeing our mind from the deeper level of rejecting, that each other helps from karma and then nature of samsara, nature of self-existing world. Both help our mind very much about accepting rather than rejecting. Our recepting mind gets deeper and deeper and deeper. Again, remember that when we say accepting, it really doesn't mean don't do anything. If I have to change things, if I have to correct things, if I have to say things, we can, we should. But my mind should not be in the state of rejecting about the situation, what happened. My mind should not be rejecting the effect that I'm experiencing now, which arises from the karma or cause that I have accumulated in the past. So that's a really key point to remember, please. Most of you heard that from me. Many times I have shared with you that. So please. And then after that, I also ask you to think about others, knowing there are mothers and remembering our mother's kindness that we have received from, and then wishing to repay the kindness that we have received from our mothers, and then great compassion, which is a mind that sincerely wish for our mothers to get free from suffering and problems, and also the loving kindness, which is another beautiful mind that wish for everyone, every mother's sentient beings to have a happiness, and then extraordinary compassion, which is the mind that wish to take responsibility. Even I can now, but wish to take responsibility of freeing them from suffering and giving them happiness. And then finally, who does that? Who can do? Can I? All these questions makes clear that I don't at this time, because of lack of wisdom in my mind, lack of good qualities in my mind. At the same time, other delusions, other obstacles in my mind. So in here, I wish to attain more wisdom. I wish to get more, more free from problems and delusion. And finally, I wish to attain the full enlightenment, in order to benefit other sentient beings, in order to free them from suffering, in order to give them happiness. So anyway, so this is the part of the motivation that most of the time I remind you. If you have any thoughts, I hope we all are doing, because these are the things. It's not something, again, it's not kind of made up by anybody. We are not in, the topic that talk about that we try to generate in our mind as a motivation are just, it's there, but simply I don't know. And those great teachers, great meditators, great enlightenment being taught us what we have, what we experiencing, and what we don't know. So it means I've been impermanent, from the beginning. Last time I've been in impermanent. I've never been in permanent. I've been in experiencing the effect of the karma, effect of the cause since beginning. Last time I've been in the experiencing nature of samsara since beginning. Last time I've been in that, and I've been rejecting many things, that, or maybe almost everything. And I have not been accepting internally well about this and that. So those great meditators, great teachers, great enlightenment being taught us, you are not permanent. We are not permanent. And your effect that you're experiencing are result of your cause. And you are also experiencing nature of suffering existing all the time. And I also, within that also teaches us that I also experience the suffering of anger, suffering of jealousy, suffering of delusion, suffering of all of that. And that makes these wrong views stronger and stronger and stronger. And those great teachers taught us, let's think about reducing all of those wrong views, reducing all of those delusions, reducing your anger, reducing those jealousy. And I just try not to really let anger arise in your mind. And it is completely possible, because we all have that potential to be able to do. But once you do, when we do this, we will not change my life being as a permanent. We will not change my life as a being, as a, being in the, being experiencing, impermanent or change of that. This will happen, but what will change is I will have a less experiencing effect from the negative cause, negative karma. And all at the same time, I will have a much less experiencing difficulties when I experience the nature of samsara. And then through this, there is a fully possibility of getting out of samsara, getting free from that circle of karma and effect and circle of samsara. That is there. But it mainly and really depends and relies on reducing the wrong view in a wrong in the mind that views things in wrong way, such as viewing myself as a permanent, viewing things that is happening as in this because of somebody did it, not me. And also viewing the nature of samsara that I experience are not part of the nature of my life. It seems completely separate entity than my life. Those wrong views, those are the mind that viewing in that way are completely wrong. And how deep I view in that direction, it will not make me free from experiencing any of that. Plus, I get into that situation more and more, deeper and deeper, stronger and stronger. So that's why, see, look at this motivation topic that we use are all in our life. It's not just because of somebody taught us and then it become existent and before that we are not. It's not like that. And also the compassion and loving kindness, it can be developed. It simply is, I know and I have mind that wish for happiness, mind that wish to get free from suffering. I have that mind, but I always focus on me. Then when that wish comes, I only focus on me, or I focus on mind, body, or like that. And in our great teachers teaches us here, great meditators, great Buddhists meditators teaches us, no, now that should not be in only me and only mind. Think about others. Right? Say, instead of wishing happiness only for myself, and wish happiness for others, and wish free from sufferings for the others. It simply is a mind first. And here, in the nature of that is, what is going to happen, immediate effect, or first effect, not being selfish, but see who experienced that benefit by developing that type of mind. No question, I will experience it. More I wish others to have a happiness. Whether they will get it or not, it's really up to cause and effect. But I will definitely going to experience, because my mind is getting free from that self-centered concern. And another term we use is here, self-cherishing mind. So others. So that's why, see, we're not learning something that I haven't done. Wishing happiness. I have that since beginning lesson time. Wishing to get free from suffering is there too. In our mind, it's in our life. It's always there, always there. But we never place others in that object of that mind. We only keep myself in that. We only keep my somebody in there. So in our great meditator these Buddha's teachings, meditation teaches us to wish others to have a happiness, wish others to get free from suffering. Don't worry about losing anything in my life. I'm not going to lose at all anything when I wish for that. Instead of losing, we gain a lot. We get lots of virtues, lots of positive things. And not only that, we free our mind from really those negative concern about myself, only concern about myself type of mind. So please, that's why I see you touch with every topic of this that we have learned about generating positive motivation, and then you use it then, and see, try to match with use your present life to match, try to use your present life to understand as much as you can, and it's all try to understand the fact of our life, this world, this samsaric world, the fact of this, the fact of the things that not something that we are making it up. It's not like imagine there is a beautiful flower or they're coming to you. It's not like that. It's just really fact that who I am and what I actually experience and what types of mind that what type of aspect that I develop within my mind about those daily experience, and which are wrongs and which are right, and then try to distinguish them. And in the process of developing these state of mind are all focusing on the fact, and then other points are the other things that we in normal samsaric life that we are focused, try to get less and less and less. Anyways, I will stop here now. Do you have any thoughts on motivation? Any thoughts on these topics that we share? Do you have any thoughts on precious human life and karma and impermanent and nature of samsara? Yes, please. That gives me time to drink the tea too.
Sure. Thinking about karma. I'm trying to understand karma. If everything that we experience is effect,
Yes.
that includes what our mind experiences
Mm-hmm.
and ability to think thoughts.
Yes.
It's hard for me to understand how I have the freedom to choose good thoughts
Mm-hmm.
if everything is karmically
Right.
forced on me.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like there's an area that is not forced by karma, that I do have freedom to choose thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
But that seems to go against the idea of
Sure.
karma determining.
Mm-hmm. In here, look at now number one here. The birth that we take in this circular existing world, according to the Buddhist teachings, talks about there are 6 types of birth, and 2 is very obvious to us. One is animal and human. That we experience directly, and also now speaking about these 2, human birth, taking human birth or rebirth, and taking as animal as rebirth or birth, happened again also as a result of karma, cause, action. And our question comes here is, are they positive actions or negative actions? And in general here, every human birth are a result of positive action, and every animal's births are unfortunately a result of a negative action. So look at that. And those action, those karma, when Buddha ascribed in the sutra, he uses term called penjetile, which means a throwing action. Throwing action, throw us into new birth. That karma has a function, is a function or ability to throw us into new rebirth. So here, and then that kind of effect is also called very specific way called nammi, means ripening result, ripening effect. So the ripening effect are the effect of throwing karma, throwing action, and they mainly are divided into two. One is a positive karma, positive throwing karma, giving, fortunate ripening effect. Negative throwing karma or action, giving unfortunate ripening effect. That's giving the result of that. So here, based on that, it says one positive, one is a negative, one is a virtue, one is a non-virtuous result. And knowing that here, how does we know? What makes it? Here is the human, within our human mind, basically, as we took rebirth, in general, within human mind, in generally, what kind of abilities that human can have, what kind of ability that animal could not have. And these abilities gains from, or these abilities are result from what? From the previous positive throwing action that human are experiencing. So here, we're not talking about outside, we're talking about internal experience. Now I as a human, you as a human, when I say something to you about, or this type of actions are wrong, or this type of actions are correct, right, and this will do good, that will do bad, this type of actions, just verbally I'm telling you, and you can hear, you can think, and you can help yourself to understand right or wrong, and come to agree, come to disagree. That abilities human gets because of that kind of karma, throwing actions result. Unfortunately, in animal, in general, they teach something, but here in the animal, if you say, oh, this kind of actions will create a negative action, this is a positive action, this is a negative action, and then teaching them, and then ability to think about, and then making a decision, saying what is right or wrong, being agree, not agree, all these kind of abilities are missing in there, not having it. And this is what karma teaching taught us, and says these are, the negative throwing actions a result, right? So that shows now in your coming back to your question. Your question here. See, we as a human, result of experiencing that throwing actions a result gave us that kind of ability in general. So at the same time, this is only one karma's result, my birth, which is a ripening result of one throwing action. But at the same time, while I took birth as human, there are so many karmas that I experience. Those karmas Buddha does not describe as a throwing karma, throwing action. Those karmas are called, Dzogje Gile. Dzogje Gile is completing karma, completion or completing actions. So as my life is moving towards where? Our main destination, our common destination, right? This is what is true. We are all moving to our final destination. Whether I'm sitting here or sleeping or walking, my day is moving, right? Every minute is moving. Every minute is moving to the last destination. This is as our and through that life, I experience sufferings, happiness, mentally, physically, right? Good, bad. These are not result of throwing actions. These are not result of throwing action. These are result of completion action. So today, how many? If we investigate, if we try to a little bit pay little actual attention, in one day, just in one day, I experience happiness, I experience sufferings, I experience neutral 10 times, 20 times, 50 times, 100 times, maybe 1,000 times. That shows that how many completion karma is ripening. Completion karma arrives very easily. Many completion karma arrives in our life. It requires very small condition to ripe. Very small conditions to ripe. And that also all happens mainly my mind's action. My mind's way of viewing. If I let my mind view in a negative action, in a negative way, it's easily going to help to write one of our completion karma, and result will easily ripe within, so there are many completion karma are already given some fertilization already in the past month. They are just, it's a very, very complicated actually, and very complicated because there are so many completion karma that I have in my mind are ready to ripe, and some of them are in sleeping, some of them are ripening, some of them are and at the same time another thing is here. I'm also accumulating every minute of that. That is also happening. Every minute of my day, I accumulate positive completion karma and negative completion karma. So that happens. Those karma's result are happening based on what we experience mentally in that. But your question about ability to choose is a part of human nature. The one is a part of animal's nature, and they are a result of this birth. They are part of this birth. So they are a result of virtuous throwing action and non-virtuous throwing action. So they are not a result or effect of day-to-day different completion karmas. So again, yes, as a human, positive throwing actions, I came to have this. I came to rebirth as a human and then have the ability to be able to choose. But there are also karma that is also somehow they get, sometimes our completion, some of the powerful completion karma can really damage that too. Able to choose one. Some of the powerful completion karma can also damage or destroy things that I have, I should supposed to have to be able to choose, can get destroyed it. Which, look at it, people who is being, unfortunately, sorry to say it, but people who experience mental issues, their karma to take birth as a human gave them already human birth with that. But unfortunately, in that process, somehow the very powerful completion, negative completion karma, non-virtuous completion karma, right relating with that, and unfortunately came to experience that. So here, so here now, that's why in our meditation teaches us that positive throwing action gave us this wonderful rebirth. At the same time, positive completion karma gives us a wonderful condition that we have. Internal condition and external condition, such as like meeting beautiful friends, right? Very like a spiritual friend, helping friend, who encourage us. These are also, those are result of virtues, completion karma, completing karma. So, and now, what encourages us to use them meaningfully? If I waste that, I'm wasting previous, the positive throwing action, and I'm also wasting the virtuous completion, action too. So I'm wasting them. So right now, we all are trying our best to not to waste. So that's why I see, am I really getting, so here, now I think point here is again, how did I have that ability? This happened as a part of human birth, which is a result of the positive throwing, or a positive throwing karma. You want to say something?
Yeah, I mean, you've probably addressed it mostly, but with the throwing karmas, that's a very large accumulation, right? It's an accumulation of a lot of positive and negative actions, perhaps previously, in our previous incarnations, as well as what we create now. In other words, through purification, perhaps we're creating some sort of negative or positive impact.
I hear you.
Yeah. I'm making it confusing for myself too. The throwing karmas, can we make them stronger in a negative or a positive way on the basis of what it is that we're doing
okay.
now? Yeah.
Throwing karma, whether it's a positive or negative, they get stronger by themselves.
Okay.
They get stronger by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Means they can give effect, powerfully as it grows. Here, remember, long time ago, we have learned that here. 4 things about the karma to meditate. Says in the sutra says le nyeba. This means the result of the actions are definite or certain. One point to look at it, to think about it. This is the one thing that really important for us to know when we contemplate or when we meditate, when you train your mind into karma. See, either you just say karmas are definite or certain, or I like a little bit more makes sense for our level of seeing that action or the the result of the karmas are definite or certain. Means if I mean this definite is talking about, see, if it is a negative karma, it is a certain to give negative result. If it is a positive karma, it is certain to give positive result. So they cannot be changed. It's there unless I purify, unless I do something like meditating on emptiness or others to purify them. Otherwise, it will there, and when it meets with condition, it will ripe based on their nature and give its definite result of based on that nature. One thing, one point. Then I also share with you, we also learned that the second point here is le pe chewa. Le is again karma, which is referring to the result of the karma, result of the karma. Pe chewa means increases. Increases. I created karma today. Don't feel bad, don't feel good, just take it simple way, please. I accumulated karma today, it can increases. Think about external things now, see. Such a tiny, tiny, tiny little seed. Remember? Tiny little seed. Apple seed. I have seen apple seed. Have you ever seen apple seed that people used to plant? How big it is? Small, right? You plant it. And then you water it. And whatever you need to do, whatever helping condition you have to give, you give them. You give it to that. And you give it to that and it grows, this little small sprout comes, and then the trunk, branches, thousands of leaves, and thousands of apples for this year, for next year, for that year. So this tiny, small, little seed has the potential to give thousands of apples. This is in physical. And now we're speaking about the internal situation. The karma is like a seed, small, tiny little seed. And as I have accumulated that in and leave it potential in my mind, it's the amount of the result it can give get stronger by nature of it. So that's why your point here is, see, don't think about that, it is difficult to accumulate positive or negative throwing action. It is not difficult at all. And it can be small positive throwing action. It can be small negative throwing action. As long as it is a small, as long as it is a throwing action, it gives result to take one of the birth and human or others, one of the 14 realms. And if it is a negative throwing action, it will do that. But point here is, as it gets stronger, in a sense of increasing the for the result. So, and it happens when we took birth. When we took birth, as a result of that actions, we go through more result, more stronger result we experienced in the time beings like that. That's why I see the karma, the result of the karmas are certain. Result of the karma increases. Since I have started 2 points, I will just reveal the third and fourth point to remind you, not new things you are hearing it. You heard that. I don't know you meditate on that or not. But this is also here says that, third one says that le maje pata miteba. Le maje pata miteba. If the action is not cumulated, its effect will not experience. Right? If the action, if the karma is not created, its effect will not experience. So it means if I have not created a karma, karma of this and this, then I will not experience that. That's why it says, I will not meet any experience, any effect if I have not accumulated its cause, its karma. So that shows that every effect that I experience are definitely are result of cause that I have accumulated. If I have not accumulated, I will not be experiencing it. This is the one story that I like to share, which we always share which also we use when we meditate, which was used during the Buddha's time. What happened during Lord Buddha Shakyamuni's time? There were a fight between two kingdoms, and then during that time, each king have so many queens in their kingdoms. This is talking about long time, almost like 600-700 years ago. And the kingdom, one of the king place, there were 30-something queen there, and king, and then of course his their retinues and armies and all of that. And there's other king in other town or other country or there's a fight between, there's a war between, and the present king is losing it, the king. And so one day, king was very angry, very unhappy, and order even his ministers or his ministers advising to slow down, and he really made orders saying that we all are going to the war. And they all left. And all those queens, I think 30-something queens remain in the palace, stay in the palace, and all the king and man, they went, all went to the war. And at the same time, the opponent came to know that, and they sent other group to the palace and to put the fire and burn the palace. And what happened? They put the fire. The palace was, the king palace was put into fire as a burning. And there were almost every queen get burned, and there were two queens. There were two queen, there was two queen, have no idea how these two queens get free from that situation. They were free from fire. They did not die. All other came to experience dying and burning and all of that different sufferings. And that happens, and this situation took place. And during one time when Buddha was giving teachings on karma, and after some times, somebody asked that questions, why this, how did this happen? And Buddha says, here, just what we are learning now. If you have not created karma, you will not meet. If you have created karma, you will meet its result no matter what you do. If that karma ripes. And Buddha says, yes, look at that. What happened was, these 30-something queen used to be friends long time ago in their past lives. Not speaking about this, saying long time ago. They were together, having some what do you call that in English? Having I used to know that term. See, forgetting, right? Anyway, so they were in the mountain, just like having free vacation.
Picnic.
Not picnic. Like they just go out. Not a retreat. They just go out to have some free time and enjoying nice scenery and wind and air and that. At the same time, looking at the other side of the mountain, there were a small family whose house was built based on the dry grass. You remember that India, they have that type of house. And accidentally, while they're cooking, they get fire. The house get burned. The fire. And they were so nervous. They were so, rush trying to put down that fire. And they were running there and there, screaming there and there, screaming and wanting to help and all of that. So they were in that terrible, unhappy situation. But what happened? There's those Queen's previous life. They were looking at it, and most of them laugh. And then among those women, the two previous Queen's life say, "Oh, so sorry. I wish I could be nearby so that I can help them to put the fire down." It's impossible to reach there because it's on the other side of the mountain. If you are trying to run there, it's impossible. They understand with their they see that, but they also wish that these two women really wish, how wonderful! I wish I could be there so that I can help them to put the fire down in their house so they can able to, at least not to get fully burned. But the others, women, do not have that kind of caring. Just laugh about their action. How when it may seem to them as a funny, but for them it's not funny. For them it's losing home. At that time, I'm sure there's no kind of insurance things.
Yeah.
So it's, and Buddha says that here, actions are created very simply. So that's why we're talking about how I end up creating karma. Completion karma can be easily accumulated. So they have accumulated karma, negative karma, relating with the burn and fire because of laughing at somebody's house burning. And these two women, two queen, did not accumulate negative karma, plus they end up accumulating positive karma by having positive thoughts, such as wishing, I wish I could be there to help. So that could end up, these two queen accumulated positive action of not to getting into this kind of fire, into this kind of burning or fire, dying. So they get free. So that's what Buddha said, look at, this is the karma, how we meet the result and we don't meet the result. It completely depends on having done or having not done. So here also, so this is the third point that we use to meditate on karma. And then the last point was Jebachu Misawa. Jebachu Misawa means if I have committed an action, whether it's a positive or negative, it never get wasted. Means it's I accumulated. It already left it within me, within my mind. No matter, doesn't make difference whether he knows, she knows, they know. In our normal life, I do something wrong, I try to hide from you, so I think I'm free. Like if people, some people steal things, they think, oh, they don't know, he don't know, she don't know, I'm free. Right? But in karma, it's not like that. In karma, whether they know or he know or they know, it doesn't matter, it will not get wasted. It's by the nature I have committed that action of stealing, negative action of stealing, it already committed, it's already, potential is already planted in my mind. Negative action of stealing is already planted in my mind. So it may take 1 year, it may take 10 years, it may take one more life, it may take 10 more life, it can take it can take, any time, many years, but it will not get wasted, it will not disappear, it will not get washed by being long time. So says if you have done, if I have done, whether it's a negative or positive, it will be there. So the positive action, if I remember it was a positive action, be rejoiced, happy about it. If it is a negative action, before it ripe, it's still there, and then I should do something, which is try to purify it, try to feel sorry or regret about it, and try to meditate on emptiness. And through that we do purify. Otherwise it will be there without going away. So that's why you see karma. Result of the karma is a certain, and the result of the karma increases. If I have not created that karma, I will not meet its effect. In the last, the result of the karma will never get, do we need to say get? And never wasted. Is it right? Yeah, never wasted. So these 4 points, when you think about, these are the basis to meditate on emptiness. Every karma's explanation can be able to fall into these 4 lines. And there are a lot of other topics to learn on meditating on emptiness, but when we gather it, when you make in a simple method in our capacity, in our level, to get deeper understanding and deeper experience, deeper feeling, or deeper mindfulness about karma. Really, mindfulness of karma is that. So when I meditate on this, I train my mind into seeing there are certain, they do increases. I do not meet. If I have created, I will meet. If I have not created, I will not meet. And whatever I have created, it will never going to get, cannot hide by anyone. It cannot be there. So this, if I'm aware of, if my mind becomes really aware of this meaning, naturally I will be more careful with creating positive action. I will be more careful with not creating negative action. I will have lots of different good qualities that I used to don't have, but I gain those qualities by meditating or by gaining mindfulness on karma and its result. So it will not slow down our nature of our life. What we do what we have to do, but my behavior, particularly my mind's behavior, will be very, very good in a situation of creating positive or positive or negative karma. Any thoughts on karma? Yes.
I have a question about repeating karma, like a pattern. Like I have a pattern in my life. Every 4 years, I'm always moving, and have I done something, or I don't know. Like if there's a pattern you're trying to break, and you keep being in the same pattern keeps happening, and for your whole life almost. I don't know. Is it karma? Like I don't know, like pattern, breaking pattern. Is that karma?
Pattern means.
Pattern means like repeat, like.
Or repeating.
Like, yeah, like every 4 years I move. Every 4 years I move. Every 4 years I move. Like it's just, and it's not a pattern I want, but I don't know. Has it been given to me? Have I made it?
Here, again, this is very, in this case, I'm not sure in individual situation, maybe if that is happening in your life or our life, in anybody's life, he or she might have a same type of karma more than one, more than two, more than three, more than four, more than five. So example, experiencing headache. So I experience headache today, I may experience headache next week, I may have a karma to experience headache next month, or after 2 months, after 3 months. So that means, yes, they are karma that I have, many karma that I have to experience same type of effect, which is experiencing headache. So in your, either you call as a repeat, happening again and again, it is happening again, yes, similar type of, but here comes, if that karma, whatever karma that I experience, if it is complete in ripening, complete in experiencing it, and that karma is finished. That karma is finished. It's, see, it will, we will not experience again that karma. That karma won't be able to give result again, because I have experienced that result again. Experience that result completely. In the future, I may experience similar type of things that I experience today. That karma, that cause is different than before. May have a same nature as before. That's why the effect experience is a similar, but it's not. It's not the same karma that I'm, the same karma that is giving me the result. So, it's when you say patterned, yes, experience of that pain continually happen. This month it happened once, next month it happens once, next month it happens. So it's hard to tell that one karma, maybe some of the karma give result for a long time, because if it is as powerful enough, it gives result for the long time. Some karma for a short time. So your situation could be one of the powerful karma started to give result, then it get little less, and then it again appear more obvious. So, but could be in that way, or could be I might be having a same type of karma more than 2, 3, 4 times. So one ripe this year, and then it's complete, and then the next one ripe after 4 years. So after 4 years, that might be happening too. But yeah. So here the karma is very. It's in. See here, look at. Do I spend 1 minute without engaging into action by my mind? So my mind always engaged into action. Just simply engaging into action creates karma. See how easy it is. It doesn't need to. My teacher used to say, you don't need to get hammers and go out and bang the like that. It just simply when my mind engaged into this neutral situation, right? There are neutral situations. I'm creating neutral karma, not happiness, not that, neutral. And when my mind engaged into negative side, negative way of thinking, negative action, negative karma. If my mind engaged into positive action, positive, it's that. So creating karma through our mind, it's so easy step. But when we experience again, experiencing karma is also happening in the same. We experience karma's result very easily because our mind can able to produce helping condition to drive our karma constantly is happening it. And so that's why we end up creating it. But that part we cannot control. Creating karma moment after moment, action after action, experiencing the result of the karma, moment after moment, action. That's something that is happening. We can't control at this time. So here, what taught us so much to pay attention to, in order to take care of this kind of situation, is each time when we experience karma, try to really have a positive response to every effect that I experience. Positive response, positive way of viewing. That not only it will help to creating positive karma for the future and avoiding negative karma creating for the future, not only that, also it will make our experience much more easy to move on. Sometimes when I experience some pain or negative karma is right, and negative, I'm dealing with the effect, difficult experience, it's there ripening now. I'm experiencing it. So if I let my mind view that experience in a negative way, in complaining way, in a rejecting way, my pain may get stronger. At least pain will not get less. But if I started to let my mind to view this is happen, effect, let's accept, see what can I do. If I let my mind to feel positive as much as we can, in proper way of viewing, number one, pain will not get worse. Number two, if I'm strong enough to able to turn my mind into that, our pain may get lesser. Our experience of pain can get lesser and lesser and lesser. And needless to say, what actual benefit is happening in here is, even it seems this condition that I'm experiencing is a negative result in karma, but I have used that as an opportunity to create positive karma. I do not let this situation to create another negative karma. So I did not let that negative result to continue negative karma. That is happening in our normal samsaric life. So here, that's why in teaching says, our karma is not negative karma is not ending, because every negative result that I experience, I'm letting that situation to become creating another negative new karma. So if that then happens, so then there are many physical experience that we have to be able to use, to be able to use to correct our, life to become more, more positive. So karma is also similar like that. So that's why if I really do that, this is the way how I am stop creating more negative karma, and this is the way how I start only creating positive karma, and this is also I take care of my day-to-day different experience, different feelings. So and through that, through this, it will also have an effect of dealing with delusions that I usually develop, such as anger and all others. And this kind of understanding will also prevent my mind getting into experiencing anger. Because when I use that negative, the experience of effect, the experience of the negative karma to complain, to create, giving the complaint or creating another new negative karma, and through that process, this complaining are basically happening within a rejecting state of mind, and that rejecting state of mind will be certainly going to exaggerate over that experience, and then there will be anger. There will be anger within our mind arised. So, preventing having those anger to arise in our mind, I don't let my mind to exaggerate. I don't let my mind to reject that situation. I don't let that experience view in a negative way. So through this, I prevent every negative door. I prevent every door's negative things to happen from that, and then I'm opening every positive doors to happen from the point of view of creating or accumulating new or good positive actions, and also from the viewpoint of view of accepting the situation, like that. Anyway, so I think I'd say more than any thought on karma you have now?
Rinpoche, just so you know, it's 8:30.
Okay. You have one thought?
I have one thought. So if a person has a goal or wish to complete something, whether it's a career or planning something, a birthday party for someone or something, you have this thought that you're planning it, you're doing it, you have your motivation, and then okay, if you complete it and can do it, and then you feel the satisfaction for it. Is that, when that happens, you don't really think of your karma naturally. I think most of us don't think that this is your karma. I think a lot of people may not think that. It seems like when it happens like this, it almost feels like you have some control of your life and your karma because things are working out well. I guess my question is this thinking incorrect in a dharmic sense? In the dharmic sense, is it that we're just getting the results of previous karma, and then it just ends up that you do end up with this? You know what I mean? You know where I'm going.
I think it's okay because we do plan to have family gatherings, like giving some. You're talking about that one, right? You're talking about having some party or planning.
Or just because the flip side, if it doesn't work out,
Okay.
the flip side, if it doesn't work out, if people can't complete, can't get the degree, can't do it, then it's so there's so much negativity, and then you feel like you have no control. You feel like you've lost control.
Sure.
Whereas the other side, when it goes as
Well.
planned, then you feel like you have control. Is that sense of control? I guess that sense of control is an illusion and a little bit false.
Again, the people who go to school and try to achieve their degrees, and that many people did get. There are many people who could not able to get. Of course, it certainly has to do with the karma too, and their way of thinking and their effort. And I'm not sure your question clearly with the very end, but yes, in that true, one thing that I understood here is they go through a lot of experience, trying to get what they wanted to get, and sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't happen. It basically, of course, is it definitely has to do with the karma, but of course it's individual, depends on individual's understanding. But it is also hard for them to have that kind of understanding at that time, if he or she is in the process of getting degrees and then spending good amount of time, good amount of money, good amount of effort, and not getting the way others are getting, and then it's really get difficulties in their mind, and then of course even the result is happening based on karma. I'm sure it is difficult for him or her to be able to see that. Are you talking about that one, right? Yeah, I'm sure it is difficult for him or her. But if he or she can understand, of course, it's another side. But in that age, without having, without having, understanding of, karma and a result, maybe without saying karma and effect, maybe they can hear from cause and effect. If we say that you have to have a cause and conditions to get, and degrees or that, and then cause and condition has to be mainly produced by you, not by others. And if sometimes people say luck, right? I have a good luck, he have good luck, why don't I have a good luck? And you can also use that term for him or her to understand luck is also one part of the cause, and that you create, and or bad luck is also one of the cause that I create, you create. So individually created. So this is something that we have to tell people, saying that good luck or bad luck is also not given to us by others as a reward. It was also, bad luck was not given to us by somebody as a punishment. Good luck was not given to us as a reward. It is a part of, your effort, individual's effort have gained as even is good luck that is considered, you take it as like in karma, if people understand karma, should take that as a good karma, good cause, and the bad luck, it's bad karma, bad cause, negative cause. So I think, and then also to those kids, I think it's very important to tell that study and getting degrees cannot be done by others for you. You have to study. You have to get this knowledge into your mind. I always feel kids, when they go to school, when they study, and they should really do it with a good amount of the time, when they have good amount of time, not to waste their time when they have good amount of time, and then when they exam or whatever is getting close to, and then they started to put too much see, time is getting closer, that create pressure in their mind, number one. And then out of that pressure, that things that are trying to learn doesn't get into their mind properly, nicely. So it takes longer time to get this meaning into their mind because of that pressure. So I always feel, I do that when I did experience when I was studying that. So then I learned it. When you have 1 month and don't waste your 15 or 20 days without doing anything, without studying what you have to, when you have 1 month to do your exam, say. So it's always good to spend a little time, or maybe more than little time, to study, and then each day, yes, I learned that part today. I have this in meaning and this meaning. I think the kids, I don't know how kids are studying in the college, which I never been into that kind of college. So, and particularly these days, but I think every kid has a potential to able to get it and able to done it, but it's really up to them to do well in preparing when they have a good amount of time, and they do. So if as a parent or friends, if we remind our kids and our friends in that way, they may able to really succeed getting into the getting degree more easily. And then so like that. So I think it's a hard situation. When that really fails, it becomes really difficult then to accept the result, and that is also what we learn, rejecting. I reject the result. If I don't get the degree, if I fail in college, so I definitely going to reject that result. And as I reject, and so I get very unhappy and anger and all of that. But at the same time, I've seen it when I was giving the Geshe's exam. I have a friends who failed one subject, and then you have to repeat it. And I have a number of friends who failed and during that time one subject. And one of my friends, his name is Losan Sudrim, I remember, he was very good with it. He said, thank good I did not fail 2 subjects, he said. I said, why? Because if I fail 2 subjects, I have to repeat all of them, He said, because we have 8, 9, we have one short time, we have a 9 written exam within 15 days. So 9 written exams. If we fail 2 subjects in written exam, then you have to repeat all of those 9 subjects again next year. So he's saying, thank God I did not fail 2 subjects. So he was looking at it in that positive way. This makes me to say, he accepted what subject that he failed. So he said, 2 months after, I will get the date, so I will go again. And then we tease him, okay, well, you go for that. We're going to have a vacation, something like that. So anyway, so I think, that type, see, if I accept, the way he accepts his one subject failed by looking at the worst thing did not happen, so there's another opportunity I have to go and do it. So that's why, see, I think it's through this, we make our mind more into a state that is more, relaxing, more happy, more accepting, so it becomes easier. And when they are rejecting, it's really difficult. Thank you. Thank you very much. Please, dedication.
Lozan